Do you ever make random mistakes when you play for others, even though you spent hours and hours working on your music to get it to sound just the way you want? Random mistakes are super annoying, but they happen a lot more frequently than you may think. In this video, I want to talk about why these random mistakes occur, and I want to give you some tips that have always helped me minimize their occurrence. One set of reasons why random errors occur in performance have to do a lot with psychological factors like stage fright, mental fatigue, perfectionism, and memory lapses. Another set of reasons have to do with physical factors like, of course, physical fatigue, even instrument issues when it's not set up correctly, and environmental factors. And then the third reason, or the third set of reasons really, I guess, have to do with external factors that at the end of the day are beyond our control. So to minimize the chances of random errors occurring in performance, try to incorporate these 14 tips into your routines. Number one, make sure to identify and improve every challenge spot in your music strategically when you sit down to practice. You can use principles like deliberate practice or strategic practice to guide you. The point is, you want to make sure that you approach your trouble spots like a scientist. Make sure to isolate them and improve them all the time. Number two, don't practice too much. I know intuitively we think the more we practice, the better we're going to get. But if we can actually practice too much and we can hurt ourselves. Now, you especially don't want to practice too much on your performance days. Of course, that's going to lead to physical fatigue and obviously injury if you do it too much. All of those things are going to lead to an increased probability of making random mistakes. Also, when we repeat something too many times in one sitting, we end up storing a lot of that information into our short-term memory instead of our long-term memory. So the last thing we want to do is get up on stage and forget what we're playing. One thing you can do is consider spacing out your practice material even within the practice session. Try doing fewer sets or fewer repetitions per set where your repetitions are very, very high quality. Number three, increase your rate of success in practice. To minimize random mistakes, we not only need to practice often and strategically, we also need to make sure that our rate of success increases over time. One thing that you can do that helps me a lot is to use a daily practice journal to help you keep track of your rate of success for every set of repetitions you do. Number four, I know this may sound a little bit silly, but please do your best to get around 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night. There's plenty of research that shows that getting enough quality sleep obviously improves memory. It improves our alertness, our attention, and of course, physical recovery. So if you've had a lot of practice sessions, your hands are going to be tired and you're going to need a lot of sleep, really good quality sleep. This is especially true the night before you have a performance. Number five, make sure that your instrument and all of your gear for your performance are ready to go. They're set up at least one day before your performance. For example, if you need to change your strings, for guitarists, I like to change my strings at least 4 days in advance. Some people do it in less time than that, but for me, I like 4 days in advance. And then that way on the performance day, all you really need to do are some fine tuning, just normal fine tuning to get ready to go. Number six, if possible, practice in your performance space as much as possible. And ideally, set everything up so that it looks and feels like it will on your actual performance day. For example, practicing in your performance attire, setting up your lights, setting up your microphones, getting a chair, maybe changing the chair heights. And even if you can, ideally, change the temperature in the room so that it's going to be exactly the way it is or close to what it is in your performance space. This way, when you finally do get to your performance date, you're not going to be thrown off or distracted by all of these environmental changes. Number seven, on your performance days, don't overload yourself cognitively. Mental fatigue is going to lead to plenty of random mistakes. It's the last thing you want. And this is especially true, by the way, for online multitasking, which has been shown in research over and over again to negatively affect concentration. So especially in your performance dates, do not scroll on social media, especially if it's really close to performance time. Just empty your mind, concentrate on your music, and avoid a lot of multitasking. Number eight, prepare your pieces with a focus on musical expression and enjoyment rather than on technical perfection. If you make a mistake in practice, of course, you want to stop and fix it, but you also want to get used to playing straight through your pieces with as much enjoyment and expression as possible without stopping for any mistakes. I mean, at the end of the day, in your performance, you're not going to get a chance to stop and fix errors, or at the very least, you really shouldn't do that. It's not going to be a great performance. Number nine, test your memory often. You want to get used to playing your pieces from memory early on. Don't wait until you've kind of worked through the whole piece of music or page. Work on line one, get it down from memory, then line two, then lines 1 and 2 from memory. One testing strategy that I really like to do is to write the name of my performance pieces on a separate flashcard. Then I'll shuffle the cards, pick one, and then I'll play the piece listed. If I make a mistake, I'll put that in pile 1, which means I need to review that within 24 hours. If I don't make a mistake, I'll put that in pile 2, which means I'll review that in 2 days. The goal is to get all of your pile into the 2-day pile, and then eventually that 2-day pile becomes every 3-day pile. right? So you want to add some spacing into your practice to force your recall and make sure that your memory is on point. Number 10, once you can play your music with enjoyment and with as much expression as possible from memory, you want to start recording yourself and then listening back or watching it back right away to look for errors or look for any kind of adjustments you want to make. And you want to do that often until your piece sounds the way that you want. Number 11, this is a great one. I love this one. Practice walking on stage while you're imagining yourself playing the first few notes of your piece exactly the way you want them to sound. Now, when I say on stage, that could be in your practice room, just walking into your practice room, into your chair. You can imagine yourself as if you were going to be walking on stage and then do this vivid imagination of your first few notes. Then once you get into your space or to your chair, or maybe you're standing, bow, take a deep breath, and then just play only the notes that you imagined. You want to do that several times, maybe 5 to 10 times. Getting started is often the hardest part in performance, and the more you can get used to just starting your pieces, the less likely you are to make random mistakes on stage as a result of stage fright. Number 12, develop and practice a pre-performance routine that's going to help you combat stage fright. A pre-performance routine could be something as simple as maybe just before performing, doing a lot of deep and slow breathing to calm your system down, and then repeating to yourself, repeating your expressive goals and your enjoyment goals in your head before you get up on stage or before you perform. Do this over and over again. Deep breathing, repeating your performance goals. If you do this in practice often, it's going to help you reduce your anxiety level when you actually go and perform. Number 13, when you've memorized your music and when you have your pre-performance routine all set, start playing your pieces in mock performances for others in what are called low stakes situations. That's going to help you really get used to playing in front of people that you don't know. One way you can do that, this sounds really crazy, but it works super well. Start by playing for a pet if you have one. If you don't have a pet, you can play for a picture of someone that you know, and then start adding in really close family members. Maybe it's a parent, a sibling, a partner, your kids, doesn't matter, somebody close to you, just one person, then 2 people, 3 people. Start increasing the audience size. Eventually start bringing in maybe close friends, close family members, or maybe friends of them. Start introducing other people that you don't know as well into your audience, and keep it small at first. The more you do that, the more you'll get used to just doing a performance, just playing in front of others, and the less likely that stage fright is going to affect you on the performance date. Number 14, in my opinion, is the absolute most important one. You want to accept the fact that random errors will likely occur in your performance. And instead of focusing on or worrying about possible errors, you want to focus on having fun. Focus on being expressive. Because no matter what we do to eliminate or minimize the occurrence of random errors, at the end of the day, we're human beings, we're not machines, and there are always factors outside of our control that can contribute to random errors. For example, maybe the lights on stage are just in your face. Maybe the lights on stage are making it extremely hot on stage. Maybe you're in a cold environment and the window's open and you're freezing on stage and your hands don't move. There are all of these things that we just can't control. Maybe they give you a chair that's for like a 4-year-old instead of a 40-year-old. Anything, things like that can happen. So you have to be prepared for those, and you have to know those can contribute to errors. So yes, errors are going to occur in performance, but if you prepared correctly for your performance with a lot of the tips that I mentioned before, most of those errors that you're going to make are going to be so small that nobody but you will notice. And even if you do make noticeable errors, always remember that the point of performing a musical instrument is, at the end of the day, to have fun, to be as musically expressive as possible, and of course to connect with your audience. At the end of the day, nobody cares in the audience if you make a couple of random errors. What they do care about is how your performance makes them feel. And if they see that you're having a ton of fun on stage and you're being super expressive, everybody, including you, will come out of your performance feeling really great about it when it's done. Now, if you have worked on all of these tips and you still feel like you're getting a lot of errors in your practice, then it could be the case that you're missing out on some really important practice strategies. One of them is variable practice. So if you want to learn how to use that strategy to eliminate or minimize more errors, then definitely check out the next video on the screen. See you there.